graph property, ID, what are IDs and what are classes, what are the different properties and their styling, style, and everything in between, how we use anchor tag, href tag, and everything in between. In style, in CSS, we learn the properties like how we edit our CSS and how CSS is come into the existence, because in HTML we get only limited styling style. So that's why the CSS come into the existence to make our website um, more beautiful and more pretty. And yeah, that's it. So today we are going to build a project which is HTML form. Today we are going to learn about some more attributes, some more elements, and how the backend and front end work together. We are not learning backend today because backend required Node.js and PHP, and we are not going to learn PHP and Node.js in just 5 minutes. So I will tell you all the mechanism like how the server side and client side work together. So today I took a project in form. Like today we are going to build a form. This is the best project that you guys understand how the front end and back end work together, and we are going to learn some more properties. So let's get started. So first, let's comment. If I want you guys to open your desktop, so you also build your first um, front end project, your first form. So as we all know, there are lots of many of forms are available for example, inquiry form, registration form, and login form, sign up form. This is a kind of form like in every website, like you go through any website, the form is is a very essential part, right? So today we are going to build a form, and I want you guys to open your desktop, open your VS Studio Code, and start building with me. So if you get any doubt, you can ask in between. Like I'm giving, should I give you a 5 minute more to open your desktop? Guys, if you haven't opened your desktop yet, you still have time to open it, because today we are going to learn a form. We are going to build a project form, a form template. It's very useful for you all. So let's get started. First, we are going to make all of these things a comment. Like in HTML, we use comment like this. This is a sign which we use for commenting our HTML. Okay. And as is discussed earlier, like everything in HTML come under this body tag. Your body tag is very essential, not everything, but if you are working in the main page, then this thing is come under the body tag, right? And everything should be under the HTML tag. Like we started our HTML from there, and it's going to be the end HTML tag. Everything in HTML page should be under this HTML tags. And today we are going to build our forms in the body tag. Like, okay, so let's get started with it. First, the form. The form tag is a non-void type tag. Like what is the difference between void tag and non-void tag? We gonna learn about it later in this session. But just get into it. This is a pair tag. The form and form. Like okay, so form action hashtag equals to method post. Don't get frustrated if you don't understand what is this action and method means. I'm going to explain the meaning of action and method later in this session, because this is the thing which is related to the backend portion of your web page. The action method, the action attribute and method attribute is a part of your backend language. So we are going to discuss this later in this session. So just don't get frustrated if you don't understand what is action and method, because I'm going to explain you every single details about the action and method later in this session. So, so first we are building the form. So for the form, we use the form tag, which is pair tag, right? And we want to make the form, so we make unordered list. And on unordered list, we'll make list. In list, we use label. Now, what is label? Label is particularly is an element in the form which is used to, for example, let's first build a project practical, then you will understand it more further ways. Okay, name, input. Okay, so you want to remember one thing, input is a non-pair tag. Like form is a pair tag, it has opening and closing tag. Unordered list is pair tag, list is pair tag, label is pair tag, but input is non-void. Input is void type of tag, which means it is a single pair tag. Okay. So what is label is currently doing? Label is doing like when we build, like for example, open this in open source, open server. We're gonna see what is happening here. Label is putting. Is someone texted anything? No, no, no. Okay. So what is okay? So what is label is doing? Label is a particular attribute which is used when we make a form. You have to remember the syntax of the label. Like label for name, which we put name into it, and we are putting input value. Input is basically means we the user. If you are building a website as a user, as a server side, you are in the server side and the other person in the client side. The user have that obesity to find your output, like you have to give output to it, they you have to put input to it. Okay, input type equals to, there are the many input types like date time, email, file, images, number, submit. Now for the name, we basically for the name we use text type. Okay, so text id equals to name. I'm gonna explain all of this thing to you again because this thing might be new to you. So don't get frustrated. Okay, name equals to user name. Now what happening is here, we are making a form, we are using action and method attribute to it. Basically, what action does is it is HTTP protocol. Like HTTP protocol means hypertext transfer protocol. In as for a backend engineer, the HTTP protocol are basically transfer your data to client side to server side. It is basically used to transferring your data, your information. For example, why we are making the form? We are making form because we want to survey something. We want to gather some information. That's why action and methods come into the existence, because action is you give the link to a particular thing. Like I don't have a link yet, you have to put something where all this information will go. Like if you have any server maintained, for example, like when we are using a PHP, we use the PHP server, we use some PHP server link to it, so all the data, if user put their name into your HTML form, then all the information will go to this action link. Okay, so action is used to gather the links. Now method, what is method? Basically method have two types, the get type and post type. Method is also the same thing. Method append the get method. Okay, first we talk about the get method, append the data to the UIL defined on the form each attribute. Basically, what is happened to the method? Like you have to give method. Like if you are building a table in the real scenario, there is a table is built when you are storing some sort of databases. The table is built. Now, if you are like you ask users, you ask so many users about the name, their email ID, their addresses, their area of interest. If you are building a form, then the post and get method just just set the values inside the action tag in a particular manner. So for the method, there are two types of method. First is post and another one is get. Okay. Now the difference between get and post is what get does is get append the data, like is adding the data one by one to a particular server, and post just attach data to the resultant body. Like what is basically for the simpler use, we use post to it, because whatever we the users input there, it is saved to the action link. Okay, that's why we use action and method attribute to a form. This is the thing which is used in the backend by the backend engineers. So don't worry yet. You have to put just hashtag, because we don't have, you didn't make the PHP or Node.js file yet. And the post, it should be recommended to use post as in the method type. So basically we made ul unordered list, and list in between are unordered list, and label is used. Label, this syntax is useful. Like for the label, you have to put the label just like name, for example. And just remember one thing, whatever put in for must be same in id. Okay, the name what you put there must be same in id. Now the question arise, you had said earlier that id is a unique, it cannot be saved, but we are giving the id a particular, so your form will understand that this is the same thing. Like the form, the label will understand that this, the value of for is same as the value provided by the users. That's why we ensure that the for and id must be equivalent, because we want our form, because we want our server to understand that this type name is means the username. We want our user to put their name on our form, so it goes to our servers. Okay, so we are gonna, so I explained a lot of stuff like action, method, what label is doing, what is input. Like input is very clear by the name, like what is real meaning of input. We want our users to give us some sort of value, so we store them in our servers. That's why we put input tag to it. And input tag is void type of tag. Like it is one of the very interview question, like the interviewer will ask you what type of input tag is, so you must be answer it is a void type of tag, right? So let's move forward with it. Let's see how much we went. Okay. Okay, list. Now we are making some sort of list in unordered list type. Okay, list. Okay, now in the what we need, we have taken the name. Now we will take email ID. Mail, email type should be email. As we discussed earlier, the mail, the for, and ID should be same. Like the mail and the mail should be same. Okay, mail, user, email. Okay, label for now. We have done name, mail. Now, what is the third thing that you want to add to the form, which is message. Okay, we are gonna put message. We want our user to put their name, to put their mail ID, and message. Okay, let's remember one thing. Like for the input value, we are going to put text area. Text area ID equals to message. Name equals to user message. Now, what is the difference between the input and text area? You're gonna see in some minutes. Okay. Now, what is the difference between the text area and a message? Like these two blocks are made up from input values from the input tag, but the message is made from text area. We're gonna see how the text area is different from the input value, right? We want the text is not really, like if you write something, then it might be very difficult for a user to check what he or she write in the past. Okay, what he she write in the minute. So for solving this problem, we basically, if you want your user to write the long texts, we use the text area tag in our message column. So I think I make myself clear like what kind of text we are gonna see. Now name, email address, message is done. Now move to our CSS. Like you all can see this is looking pretty ugly. Okay. You all can see this is looking pretty ugly. So for the styling our form, we are using style.css. Okay, this is come into the existence. Like the HTML, what can we do to HTML? Like we can change the color, we can change the background, but the styling property for making our form more interesting, to making our form more advanced, that's why we use style.css. Okay, so first, if you are connecting a style.css, first link your style.css in head of your bot section, head of your HTML section. Now we added our link real style.sheet. Let's take check we connect the same CSS or not. Yes, we have connected the same CSS. Okay, let's make it comment. Like for if you want to make comment in CSS, we use this, right? We use this. If you want to make comment in HTML, we use this, right? Okay, this comment is used for HTML. This is used for CSS. Uh, we make this a comment because we're going to add stuff to it. Let's open our form. So it's became very easier for us to edit the stuff. Allow. Okay. So so you can see what is happening here is we are just make our HTML page, but it is sort like it is not worth it. Like you cannot send this to your clients, you don't send it to your customer because like it's looking like pretty ugly, right? So we are going to edit this form with the help of style.css, with the help of our desiccating sheet or style sheets. So let's get started. First, we are using the form tag, margin. I already explained how the margin works. Auto width equals to 40 px. Padding equals to 1 rem. Oh, guys, please remember one thing. These are called the units. Px, rem, these are called the units. And 1 rem is equals to 1 6 px. 1 rem is equals to 6 pixels. Right? Remember this unit. 1 rem is equals to 6 px. So yeah, that's it. We are updating our form. Basically, everything comes under the form tag is updated, is editing in our style sheet. This from this is editing in style sheet. So margin equals to 0 and auto as I discussed in as we discussed yesterday, we don't have to provide a unit for 0. 0 is the only you can say the only number which does not require any unit. This is one of the very exception. Okay, you don't have to give anything uh, to the 0. You don't have to give any unit to 0. So border equals to 1 px and solid color like CCC. Okay. So now what happened? We updated the border. Now you're gonna see some difference. Like you're gonna see some difference. We updated the border. Now, okay, we updated the border with the help of border 1px solid with the color. You're gonna see CCC is the color which is visible here. This is the CCC color. Now updated in a more further way. Border radius. Border radius equals to 2 rem. And you're gonna see some curve from the corner of our border box. This is called border radius. What is the working of border radius? This and this. Like 2 rem is pretty more, so I'll keep it to 1 rem. Okay, now this is perfect. Okay, 1 rem. So we updated the form. We in this form tag, what we updated the margin, we updated the width. Width is basically means the distance is called width. Padding as already I explained it. Let's explain it. I will explain this to you again. This is called padding, right? We're gonna see the padding. I put the padding 1 rem, right? And border. Okay, yeah. For the border, I put 1 px solid with color dot hashtag CCC. Okay, this is a color code, right? You can Google the color code, and you can even use the color code which is available in your CSS. There's a plenty of color code which is available. Like you can even edit the color code from there also. Yeah, I changed the color code. Okay, so we updated the form. Now let's edit it. Let's make a body background color brown. Oh no 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 no. Let's put this brown. Okay, we put the body because everything, why the body, every container inside the body is colored in a brown color because we are editing our forms in the body tag. Okay, so everything come under the body tag will be edited. That's why we put body equals to 0. You can even put the margin equals to 0. Okay, yeah. Let's move forward. Now we're gonna add our unordered list equals to none, adding equals to 0. Now what happened with the list styling? The bulletin points will get non-visible. Like we're gonna see the list style type is none. We don't want our list to get styled. That's why the bulletin points get removed. Okay, so we are editing the list. Whatever come inside this link, this unordered list will be editing in our style sheet. Okay, list style type none, padding equals to 0, margin 0. Now form margin top. I already explained it, like what the margin top has to done, like what is the real meaning of margin top. Margin top is basically means the difference between the lists, like from the list 1 and list 2. Please understand this thing. Margin top we are editing with the list type. Okay, when we remove the margin top, what you're gonna see, there is a no gap between the one block of name and email and the message. When we updating our list column, why we edit the list 1 plus list 2? Because we want to edit this list and this list, right? That's why we add list 1 and list 2. So margin top we want to margin like 1 rem. Okay, now we're gonna see some difference between some gap between the name, email, and message, right? So that's why we added margin top. I already explained what is the meaning between margin left, margin right, margin bottom, and margin top. Okay, so let's move forward. Now we are going to edit label display line block. Okay, there is a different type of display like display flex, which is basically used when you are working on a navigation bar. We use display flex, which means the all the elements will be assigned to side by side. Okay, now display block means this is edited in the display block type. The display should be in display inline block type. Okay, Now width, let's width equals to, let's say 40 px. 40 px is pretty more. Okay. Okay. Now I think this is the one of the best thing about the style dot it's the best thing about the CSS is that you are still not aware which number is best suited for your file, for your project, because when I write 400 it became so big, when I write 300 it was like so zoom out. The 90 fit, it's the best, right? Okay, so you have to keep editing the stuffs again and again to find the best result. This is one of the thing about the CSS is like it is time causing. It required a lot of time because these numbers are not come like from nowhere. You have to think about it. You have to first write 200, 300, 400. Then you must be aware that, okay, that's the 400 will work, right? So you have to give some sort of time to your style.css. You have to try the things with the different numbers and you have to build so many templates. So you must be aware of what kind of number should suited for a particular block or particular text or the gap between the texts. Okay. So label, we are editing the label. In the label, like everything comes under this label tag will be editing. Okay. We updated. Okay, text align type. Text alignment. Basically, there are the lots of text alignment types like centers and justify left, right. So center is just everything come under the centers, and means everything come under this side, the end of your page. Basically, the we are starting and basically by default, the styling is started from left to right. Okay, everything go from left is start and right is end. Okay, when you start doing end, okay, just okay. If you put and, then you're gonna see some difference. Then everything is the alignment of the text will be in the right side. Okay. When we put this in, okay, right. And put in the right, it works the same because it is in the working in the block model. We are not working in the project. When you're working in the heading or paragraph section, you wanna see the difference between what is the right and end difference. In the end, basically all the text go to the left side of your page. Okay. And by default, I'm repeating it again. By default, the thing starting with the by default you start your HTML and CSS start from right side. It takes right side as a starting and left side it take left side as a starting and right side as a ending. Okay. So text alignment we put it in the right. I guess it works. Now we are going to work upon some input value, comma. Yeah. Okay, this is already explained. Like you can edit a multiple things with making a group. You have to make a group like input, text area, h1, h2. You can edit a lots of steps together. So this is example of group editing, right? Okay, input comma text area. We are editing the input. What we are getting from the users. Basically, we are editing this blocks of code, right? We are editing this blocks. In text area, we are going to edit these type of things. For example, starting like font family. Let's start this font family with equals to, let's say, 250 px. Box 250 is not something. Box sizing equals to border box. Okay, now the box sizing is a border box. 250 is not worked. 300 px. Okay, 300 px, like it is become more larger. Okay, let's start with the 200. No, 300 is best. 300. Yeah. So box sizing means what kind of box size you want. we did it from the border box. Like the border and the boxes are available. That's why we write border box to it. So border, 1 px solid. I don't remember any color code. That's why I write pink. So you're gonna see some difference between what is happened when we added the input and text area border. The border of this code is updated to the pink color, right? I guess pink color is not visible much, so let's put this in a green. Okay, now you're gonna see it very freely. Like we edited the input and text area. First we put the font family, then width, then box sizing, then border. We see the border should be of the side 1 px. The thing you've seen, the green border you are seeing it of the sizing of 1 px. It is solid and it is a color of a green, right? So we updated our input and text area side. Now let's update our text area. Text area is equals to vertical alignment. Vertical alignment equals to top is equals to top. Now basically what happened with the text area, the vertical alignment is considered in the top way. When we are updated it, you're gonna see the difference. Okay, the messages come below to the point. Like we are updating this text to the top of this box. So that's the vertical alignment of the text area. We update it to the top. Okay, you're gonna see the difference. We haven't put the columns in the message. So text alignment equals to top and height equals to 5 rem. Now we're gonna see some more things about it. Like okay, till now we updated our form. What has happened? We put the name and this is the input value, email, input value, message. In message, we put the text area. What's the difference between the input value and text area? Like you can even edit the text, you can write lots of text in there and it is visible. Like it gives the feasibility of writing a text or writing a message, right? Okay. So in email ID, you can write your email ID. In the name, you can write your name. This is like the border. This is a property which is done by the border. Okay. This is the border radius. The curve which is you gonna see here is done by the border radius. We updated the border radius, and yeah, that's it. Name, this, email, this, message. Yes. There is something missing in our form, which is the submit button. Okay, so we are going to learn about the submit tag and submit, how we can edit our submit button to it. Okay, now we make a list class equals to button, which is equals to send your text. Okay, we're gonna edit. Okay, we using our strong tag, which is already explained. Like it make our text more bold. Okay, your okay. So that's it. Say type now using button type equals to okay. So guys, just remember one thing. We are using in list type. We are making a button. Like okay, we make a class button. which is means send your text, and we are using button tag, which is available in HTML, and there are lots of type of tags available. For example, okay, let's type it again. Type type equals to mm, okay. Now you're gonna see there are like four options which are available in the button type, which is button, menu, reset, and submit. Now one question arises like, if if I want to make the login button or the sign up button or any other button, now there is no option available for it. This is just a type of button. You can edit these button. You can edit any of these button into your login button, sign up button, and any other button. Like submit button is mostly used for making lots of another buttons. So there's nothing to worry about. If you want to make a login button or a sign up button, you can just take type equals to submit button. Okay, now submit. When I see send your text. Okay, send your text. Delete it from this list. Yeah, the list is okay. So you're gonna see you have updated your text button, but same as again, it is looking pretty ugly. It is like beyond the scope. Like everything is justified there. Like name is given. There is a proper gap, but you have to edit the send your text button again in your style.css. I mean your CSS language. So let's start editing your button tag. Okay, dot button. Let's check your class. Control plus C. Padding. Padding left. Okay. Left is equals to like okay. Now you have to see the padding left is equals to, if you put 5 rem, then no, it is still not work. Then we have to write 7 rem. More. Then we want 90 px. Okay, I think still we need to shift more right. So 92 will work, right? 92 px. Okay, so you can see we assign the value by the padding left. Basically, what happened? You can even use the margin left. It works the same, but we don't have to edit the top bottom or a right bottom. So that's why. Okay, so that's why we use padding left. You can even use the margin left or margin top property to set the button just like this. Okay, there are lots of properties which are available and does the same work, but it depends on the developer's skills, like what kind of the properties and styling properties he or she will use for their projects. So basically, you can use the same thing with a map with a margin left and margin top. Just we are using the padding left property, the same it will work, right? So we edited the button class. The button class, everything comes under the button class, which means submit button, everything is edited, right? That's why the dot is the operator which is used when we make a class and want to edit the class in the CSS sheet. So padding left is equals to 92 px. Now we are going to add button. Now we are adding this button, like this type button. Okay, this type button, submit button. Okay, someone is sending message. No, no, no. Okay, okay. Now what happening is we are editing this button type submit. We are going to add send your text, everything. Like we can change the sizing, we can change the color, we can change everything in between. So Let's put margin left. Margin left equals to 0.5 rem. Let's see. Okay. No, no, it doesn't. What it? Okay. The margin equals 0.1 rem. Okay. So we are edited the button. So in the sheet, we completed our basic, the most basic HTML form. The property we use here is like border bros property, the border property, the attributes, attributes like we get to know more about the, okay, we get to more know about the attributes like action attribute and method attributes, like what action attribute does. We have to make our servers, we have to make some database with the help of PHP, Node.js, Ruby and Rails. We put that link in this action parenthesis, then you will see the every data, the every information the user has written, it will be posted to the action, it will be saved in the action part, right? And the method, the kind of method is basically, method is a point which helps to translate your data to one server to another server and save every information to your action file, right? This is the method of action, this is the attribute, this is the attribute what action and method does. Then we will go for the UL and list of it, the list elements, then label and input elements work. But there's a difference between the input element and text area element. Why we use text area element here? Because we want our user to see, because we want our user to send the long messages. If the question you ask to your user is require a lots of messages, lots of long text, then we will use text area. And the one thing is, remember the name and ID should be same, because in this, because if we take ID and name same, then it will tell our servers that this thing, this username, this name is belongs to a particular label. Like for example, we are connecting input and label together, so that's why for and ID would be same. Like if I put mail to, then there's a problem. Like there is a problem. Our input and label will not understand that they belongs to each other, right? So this is how it works. We have to put for an ID in the same manner and it should be same. And the input type. Input type is given to you, like it should be text or any other thing. It is given to you, like if you the name should be text. So we put the type equals to text and name equals to username. While for label for mail, we put email ID, email equals to email. Now label for message, which is equals to message, message equals to user message, and at the last we want button. Like for example, list class equals to button, button type equals to submit. Now the question arises, the most of the student is like how we want to make a login form or a sign in button or any other button. Now there's only four options available in the button type, but the most important, you can take any button and you can edit the button type in this style.css sheet. You can edit everything in the style.css sheet. Okay, that's why we use submit button. Do not get to so much worry about like I want to make a login form, there's no option available for the login form. So that's why send your text here, we build the button. And this is why we put classes. Like in list we didn't, this is one question which needs to be, that must come under your mind, which come into your mind is that list, we haven't declared any classes in this type of list. Why we consider, why we put class in the button type? The idea is simple, because button is a thing which is come, like we have to edit the padding left, padding right. This is the belongs, the button is doesn't belong to anybody. We haven't used the label in the button tag. We separately make a button option available to a form. That's why. And the basic important thing when you're making a form, the using of form attribute is must, because it gives you lots of future benefits. And style.css, let's come into the style.css. The body tag, as it already explained, whatever we written in the body tag, whatever styling we does in the body, it come under all the existence. Like we are building this form in our body section, so the background color is brown. As you can see, the background color is brown. We edited the background color to brown. And margin equals to 0. Margin is a property which is means like how much the difference, how much width you need, there's a four kind of margin, like margin left, margin top, margin left, margin bottom. Okay, so basically margin equals to zero. You can also write auto to it. It doesn't affect anything. Okay, so we put body tag, and we can also use this asterisk sign. Asterisk sign is means this the property you write in the asterisk sign is available for anything, right? Okay, you can even enter the font family to it. Okay, then if we added font family to it, we don't have to write the font family in this, because we define it in the body. If we define the font family in the body, which means every letter or everything which is come under the body should follow this font family, should be written only in this font family, because we applied this font family property to our body tag. Okay, let's move forward. Like form, like it's already depend like what is margin does. Margin we at the starting we put margin 0. Why we put margin 0? This is one of the questions. Like why we put margin 0? Like because we want to add a lots of steps like width, padding, border, radius. If we take the margin, the base case, which is it is usually considered as a base case. If we start everything as from the margin 0, for example, when you start drawing or painting something, you put a white sheet. And basically why we decided the white sheet, why we don't take a black sheet, like for the normal use we take the white sheet. Okay, that's why for the base cases we use margin equals to 0 and auto, because we want to add a lots of stuff like padding, width, padding, border, radius. And what is the meaning of border? Border is basically, this is the border. Like you can see the gray color. This is the border. Okay. Now border is very important. Like it gives the clarity. Like it gives the clarity for your users that yeah, this is a form. Okay. If the without the border, the form is like very ugly. Okay. So that's why we took the border. We 1 px. 1 px means this size. We are declaring 1 px this side. What if we put 5 px to it? You cannot see the difference. Okay, now you can see the border is became little bold, like it is became little bold. So that's why this is a size of 5 px. So basically we use 2 px. Okay, this is work. Okay, 2 px you're gonna see like this is the border box. Why we put border equals to 2 px solid, and the color we choose is RBG 204. This is okay. You can directly choose hashtag CCC. It works the same. Now border radius, basically what is the meaning of border radius? This is this property is because of the border radius. Like okay, you can see the curve, and it basically I love the property of border radius, because we're gonna see when you are move forward with your future projects, you're gonna see like when you are editing an image, basically border radius is the property which is used for the image. And yeah, this is very important. You can make it circle, oral, and any other shape. Okay, so what does the border radius does? We put it in a 1. Okay, first we put it in a 8 rem. We're gonna see some drastic change. Like it become a circular box, right? This is the property. The width, the border radius is 5 rem. I don't think so it suits it. So let's move to basic 1 rem. Yeah, that's work. Okay, so border radius is basically means the border radius. This is the more property we are discussing from CSS is that margin, width, padding, border radius. Then unordered list. Everything comes under the unordered list like list style none. You're gonna see when we remove the list style, what happened. We're gonna see the bulletin points. Okay, like this is not what we want. Like we make everything in the list. And then someone asked me, what if we put long texts? Use paragraph text, right? So if we put if we are list styling type, we have to put none to it. So our form will visible more pretty and amazing. Right. Okay. List style none, padding equals to 0, margin equals to none. Okay, from list 1 and list 2, there is a different property which could be used in the terms of margin top, which is gap. There is a gap property which is used when we are working on navigation bars and some more bars when we are there is lots of lists together. When we want our list to be situated like this in the horizontal plane, then we use a gap property, and the gap property is basically the gap between the two objects, right? Object means the two texts or two images or anything. Okay, so form li plus li equals to margin top. If we remove the one rem, we're gonna see something which is like, okay, now the gap between the two blocks is not visible, right? That's why we put the margin top property of a list. Okay, margin top property of a list which is equals to uh, variance. Mm-hmm. One rem worked. I guess one rem worked more. Good. Okay. So that's why we use the margin top properties. Okay, the label. Basically, why we use label is already discussed, like why we use label to display the inline block with text alignment. Basically, what are the meaning of text alignment? The right, center, and right, center. What happen if we put text alignment to the left? You're gonna see the difference. All the text alignment, basically the everything come under the list is aligned to the left side. Basically, in starting this is method to the left side, everything starts from left to right. Okay, so name, email, message is appear on the left side. If we if we put in the right, we're gonna see some more difference, like it is come under the right. Okay, this is left side, this is right side. Okay, so I think left side suits it more. Okay, now input and text area, it's already explained when we are learning the CSS that we can even edit the stuff with comma. It is must be separated by the comma. This is important. If you don't use the comma, then it doesn't work. You have to use comma for like input text area width equals to 300 px, and let's note that thing 1 rem is equals to 6 px. Okay, just remember this thing. 1 rem is equals to 6 px, and these are the units. Okay, the width equals to 30 px. What is meaning of width? What does it doing? This is the width. Okay, this is the width. This is the width. Okay, the width we took is a 300 px. If you divide 300 by 6, you're gonna see one how much rem unit is required. Okay, okay, so box sizing equals to border box. Box sizing equals to border box. Basically, box sizing means what kind of box you need. Like we need a border box because it requires a border. Like we need in a border box. This is different properties, like what kind of box you want, border box or inline flex, border flex, or etc. etc. But the best suited is border box. Okay, now we are editing the border as it already explained, like what is border doing. Like basically this is the border. Now we are editing is from the input and text area. Now we are editing is like we border equals to how much border we, okay, how much border we take it is a 1 px solid and color green. Okay, let's put black. I think black suits it the most. It is white, right? Let's see. Like, okay, white doesn't suit it. Let's move to black. Okay, so this is the border box and the size of the border is 1 px. 1 px. Not text area vertical alignment. It's like vertical alignment. This is a message. If we haven't tried the vertical alignment of the message, on by default it is the bottom. But when we put it is a like alignment equals to top, then it comes same as the box, right? That's why we edited our text area. Text area equals to top, height equals to 5 rem. What if we put it in the 7 rem? Then you're gonna see some difference. The size of it increase. Okay, we don't take 7. The 4 rem works. Okay, now 4 rem works. Now we're gonna see button. Now button are the things which is like, this is explained like, we edited the name, email, message, list, class button. Button equals to type submit and send your text. Button type, it's already, it's like I'm repeating the same stuff again and again, because submit is, there are the only four types of button available in HTML, but you can edit these types in your CSS to make it in a login button or a sign in button and any other stuff. Okay, so that's why we make a list class button. Button type equals to submit, send your text. Okay, so that's why margin left equals to 0. These are the buttons. And why we use dotted, we use basically use dot when we make a class. We use that class dot represent that there is a class present in your HTML which is which you want to edit in your CSS. Okay, so I think we completed today's lecture. Let's move to our teams chat. Okay, so I guess I completed the today's lecture. We make a form. This is a very first and basic project with the help of HTML and CSS. In today's lecture, we learned about the form text, and action and method attributes, which are very important, how the servers, how the backend and the front end is connected. We have to, for the backend, we make, like for the method use, we have to make some code. This is basically done in PHP or Node.js and Ruby or Rail. It depends on what language you use. So that's why everything is worked. Okay, if someone has any doubt, please feel free. Like if anybody has any doubt, feel free and please cooperate. Like if you enjoy this session, let me know. The session was good. Okay, I guess you understand all the things. Like if you have any doubt, you are free to ask. Like how the things in the end, where did you use button, not dot button, one space. Okay, the button is
Thank
predefined.
you, Pranchi.
Yeah, yeah.
If you guys have any, they can clarify with Pranchi. Thank
Okay.
you.
As I al- as I already explained in our first lecture, the buttons, the fonts, these are the present in HTML. Like these tags are predefined. Like basically you can say it is predefined. But why we added the another button is this. Like let's change it. It creates the confusion. Let's put it button one, because we have to make a class. And for class you have to give a name. Okay. Now edit this in button one. Okay, now I did this in button one, right? So this is like you have to give a class. I, by coincidence, I give the class same name as button. Okay, and we don't use dot in this button because it's a predefined. For example, text area is a predefined, into text area is a predefined. Basically we use dot if we make a class. Okay, wherever you can see like we are using the class. For example, in the previous sessions we make a class like, for example, class nef branchi. Okay, so I edited the nef branchi with using dot operator. Like basically it is used when we make a class. Class can be of any name. Okay, class can be of any name. Like you can name anything in a class. So to edit to tell our CSS that this is a class we want to edit. That's why we add dot to it. Okay. Okay. I hope you understand. Please send thumbs up so we can end this session.
Yes, yes. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for all the help you have given throughout the sessions, Pranchi. It's been a highly fruitful session that you have delivered over the period of the past 3 days. Even in the time crunch you have got. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks a
And
lot.
tomorrow we are going to learn the basics of JavaScript. JavaScript, okay? So that they are signing off. Tata, bye bye. And thank you everyone for your thumbs up. Thank you so much.